Well, it is true that the dynamics from the energy transition, they are really rapid. They are profound and they change business. Business as usual is not an option. They change the business realities. So for business, it's absolutely critical to understand what are the key driving forces behind the transition, the climate context, the whole innovation context, digitalization, decentralization type of issues, but also the new resilience and risk issues. So the energy transition globally is going with enormous dynamics forward, and we need talent to not only understand but implement new solutions. And as one of the initiatives here, we agree with the government to jointly train talent. One accident after another. I think the reality was I started with very micro and questions like solar cell. I was in the beginning involved in solar cell research. Obviously then the questions have shifted to system type of questions, what kind of system support solar and other renewables, the questions of macroeconomics, what does it do to labor markets or climate change? And suddenly you find yourself in the midst of policy question, and you get back to the point where you ask, how can you accelerate innovation and which are the good innovations? And you're back to the very beginning to how can you make solar cells better. So it's a way, I think this is a beauty about most complex, most fascinating domain, which is energy, to have such a fascinating system, and I think you cannot do one thing without the other. So that's probably my personal story. Well, we have 3 years ago seen the Secretary General of the UN, the then Secretary General, defining energy as a fundamental, and for the first time as UN, defining energy as a fundamental development need. Historically, he has not been the first to say this. We could go back to people like Lenin, who in 100 years ago have said, communism is Soviet power and electricity for all. So he already recognized at that moment that development can only happen with energy, with electricity. But I think today we are acknowledging that as a world community, access to energy defines societies, access to energy defines prosperity, defines ways how countries can develop, be prosperous and competitive. So it's really fundamental to every domain of life, and it's a fascinating area. There's so much innovation going on in this area, and I think if we can share a little bit of that fascinating and profoundly important area with everybody, then we work towards a better energy system and more sustainability for all.